I'm Alan Ing. I'm with Zorianna Kit, and today we review Respect, where Jennifer Hudson plays Aretha Franklin. I will tell you, I really love this movie, especially as a biopic or biopic. But then I'm going online, and which I rarely do when reviewing, and it's getting some pretty, kind of tepid reviews here. What was your thoughts about Respect?
I understand why it is. So this is a film that Aretha Franklin herself had a hand in developing when she was still alive. And she had wanted Jennifer Hudson from the get-go for this role. By the way, great casting choice. I mean, amazing. Great showcase piece for Jennifer Hudson. Powerful pipes. These songs are fantastic.
And she sang it live. There was no pre-recording.
Yes, exactly.
It was all done live to film.
All the more amazing. But the thing is when it's sanctioned or developed by the subject matter, they are going to want to be presented in a certain light. I don't know what the rules and stipulations were, but if you just even just go on Wikipedia and look at Aretha Franklin's childhood, it was horrible. I mean, she was raped at the age of 12 and had a baby at that time. And the things that occurred to her and her battle of alcohol was just awful. And these things are addressed in the film, but they're very lightly addressed, almost glossed over. A reference to more than shown, maybe shown a split second here or an aftermath there. And so it is hard to empathize and truly understand Aretha Franklin. We see her as an icon, and she is an icon, and the movie portrays her as an icon. But we don't see a fallible human being here.
Yeah, I'm at this position of, we saw the same movie. In fact, we saw it in the same place. I do like how that was executed. I do like how that was brought out. Things were dark, but I think it sounds like you wanted it to be a little bit more darker and dressed more. And I just felt like it was just the right tone to. It's kind of like how this is the whole movie to me is just this exercise in managing this tone and trying to keep it dark enough, but not so dark that it becomes this depressing tale. And then, and in terms of presenting her as an icon, I'm not sure that they overly glorified it, especially compared to other films I've seen. To me, what I liked about this movie is, I wish more biopics were shot this way. In the sense of, we're moving, biopics tend to be chapters of a book, a scene here, flip the page, a scene there. And this one, to me, seemed to flow a lot more smoothly. And I think that has a lot to do with the director, Liesl and the writer as well. And I do like the flow of it. And I do also like the fact that it wasn't just Jennifer Hudson being Aretha Franklin, having the circumstances of her story, affect her. I felt like she drove her story. The decisions she made, right or wrong, good or bad, drove her to the next scene. And we saw this development. And I'll point out just last, and this is seen in her relationship with her father, which is very tumultuous at the beginning. And this relationship definitely evolves by the end of the film.
Listen, when you have someone like Aretha Franklin, who's lived a long life, that had so many things happen in her life and the impact she's had on the world, there's only so much you could cram into a 2-hour film. And you do have to pick your through line, your story points, what you want to highlight. I am not saying that what the filmmakers presented was wrong and they should have done something different. I so enjoyed this movie, and I think the movie that was put together was the type of movie that is is there for the highest commercial prospects possible. You will, if you love Aretha Franklin, you will see your Aretha here, and you will hear the songs, not just a verse of the song and then go on to the next scene. The songs really do breathe. We see how some of these iconic songs come together.
Yeah, they are performed. They are literally performed.
But
and you know, the movie kicks up really in the second half, where we really delve into her music, the creative process, how certain songs were written and produced.
But if you want,
and this is, to me, this was the most exciting part of the movie. And you know, and I love soul. I've loved soul for a long time, and it's just a banquet of soul.
But it's not like when you look at United States versus Billie Holiday last year with Audra Day. I mean, that movie, it was truly a warts and all movie. I mean, you see Billie Holiday at her drugged out worst, shooting up, just totally. It's not a pretty picture, and we don't see any of that here with Aretha Franklin. So in that case, in this case, I feel like the movie almost treated her too respectfully, to not delve in there, but just address it a little bit, just so you can say that you didn't ignore it. And I think that's maybe why some people are being harsh, because to me, it fulfills the tropes of your typical biopic. Oh, they have a harsh childhood. There's usually an overbearing husband. If you're
overbearing father, cheater husband, cheater drunk husband. It's all there.
And then you've got these demons, and so these are tropes, but they're also real. I mean,
I know that's the question I had when reading other reviews. It was like, it's very predictable. And I'm like, this was her life. I mean, that was her father. That was her first husband.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I was thinking a lot in the beginning of the movie is, are there no good men in this world? And, you know, that's a broader discussion, but that was something I was definitely thinking about. But at the same time, as predictable as it was, you know, it was her life. I mean, how much, you know, are you supposed to add things to make it more exciting or to tell a better narrative? Or, you know, it's just kind of like, boy, the 60s, this was kind of the way things were. And if you're going to keep telling stories from the 60s, the themes just keep rolling. I
guess.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like, what do you do? I mean, you know, you got to find a subject who experienced the 60s differently, but who is that?
Well, I never saw Cynthia Erivo in the Aretha Franklin miniseries that she is currently nominated for an Emmy for. Granted, I mean, I wonder if that one, by virtue of it being a multi-episode show, I wonder if that covers those things in more complexity. But you can take this biopic on Aretha Franklin and focus on any number of the issues on Wikipedia, if you will, and make a whole other biopic of each one of those time periods. I mean, you could expand on her friendship with Martin Luther King, which I wasn't really aware of. You could expand on the men in her life. You could take any one of those things and make a 2-hour thing right around it. So, you know, you pick what you want to show.
Yeah.
Filmmaker Aretha, who, like I said, she had a hand in this. So this is how Aretha wants to present her story to the world. This is how she wants to be seen. This is her film. She picked the stars. So, you know, it's great. It's entertaining. You're not going to be disappointed.
Well, let me talk about the ending real quick, because it ends with the documentary of Amazing Grace, and to me, this is the part of the movie that I appreciated the most. It's her redemption. It's her turnaround from alcoholism, and the need to make the Amazing Grace movie. I've heard the album, I've seen the movie, but now to get a broader context behind it just makes that segment much deeper. And then to have Titiss Burgess come in as Dr. James Cleveland, you know, the moment that he has with her at the end just really, I mean, I love that moment. It really touched me. You know, it's like, you know, I think there is such animosity against the church at the moment, and it was just good to hear it at this point.
Yeah, it was beautifully done. Even the transition from Aretha Franklin, the little girl, to Aretha Franklin as Jennifer Hudson, which takes place like she's singing at the pulpit, and the camera pans the entire congregation in a 360-degree circle. And when they come back to the 360 mark, back to the pulpit, you see Jennifer Hudson, the grown-up Aretha. Yeah. So there's these really nice filmmaking touches here that I really appreciated.
All right. So I know you're not saying that it was an inauthentic film, but I think you wanted a little more grittiness and a little more,
it did.
A little bit more darkness, so to speak. So it didn't feel like this was the approved biography.
Yeah.
So I'll guess you liked it enough to give it a 7.
Yes, exactly it. A 7. A big part of enjoying a biography or a biopic on someone who's a singer is the music, and the musical numbers really do move you. Just like Bohemian Rhapsody may not have been the best movie, but when that band performed those numbers, you are cheering, toe tapping in your seat. Oh, yeah. And that is a mark of a great entertaining movie.
Yeah.
In this case, you do feel the same way. You feel it in your soul when Jennifer Hudson sings those songs live like that. You feel it in your soul. It is moving. But yes, I do prefer the something gritty, more realistic. I think you liked it overall. You were totally happy as a clam with the version that was given to you, with the authorized by Aretha version. I think you gave it an 8, maybe even an 8.5.
I actually gave it a 9. I really like this movie, and I think, to me, maybe it's the fact that I've seen so many bad biopics that maybe I'm giving this a lot more shine. But I did love it, and I would watch it again. And I think just the writing and the directing is so on par with this story. And so, yeah, I said it. I like this better than Suicide Squad. So, apples and oranges, but nonetheless. All right. So, hey, what did you think of Respect? You love the music? You love the story? Let us know. Like, comment, subscribe below. And with that, let's get out of here.